Shalom. Let's start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakak Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and Ezra Great Millstone salutations. The for let this pushing this truth across the four corners of the earth and all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm one about back giving us sitting. This one going to about just want to go into this sitting just about how the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites that still to this day, they still lack the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the word of the Lord, of the words of the Lord, of the words of the Lord of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And you still have those Negro, Latino, Native Israelites out there that still in these churches following these false doctrines, listen to the pastor that's just finessing you out of your pockets, out of your money, giving you a false hope, that America, Babylon Great is gonna be all, is gonna be good, and that the Lord is with America, and all this and that. What they be preaching up, and then lies and deception, and you have other Israelite camps that, teach false doctrine as well. They teach that the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, that teach that the RFID chip is not the mark of the beast, and that's not true. The men of the Lord, Great Millstone, from the apostles and the Elder Brother Great Millstone, the men of the Lord that had the truth of the word of Lord Yahushua, the MOTB, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, So, according to the scriptures and understanding, if you don't understand that, that's like just plain. If you don't get it, and you saying that it's not, then the Lord Yahushua is not with you. That's just, it's like it disqualifies you at that point. Like, you gotta know that just plain. It's not that hard to understand that is that prophecy. Understanding that prophecy. You can't buy or sell unless you have that RFID chip in your right hand, your forehead, whatever. It's gonna come. It's gonna be mandatory eventually. And then, as we go forward, how things going on right now with the economy. This could be. We got the government shutdown still going on. We'll see how long it's gonna keep going, but if they don't get a deal and they, go into next year, they pushing to collapse this economy, and then the problem to the solutions is gonna be what you gotta take the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, to buy and sell, to function in the society. If you refuse, you're gonna be thrown in a concentration camp, getting your head beheaded, for not complying, whatever it may be, killed, for not complying to what, like I say, the new world order agenda is gonna be going forward. We'll see how things go with this government shutdown. If they, like I say, they don't get a deal before January, like I say, things could really get, interesting and really get chaotic out here. If they don't reach it, they don't get a deal before January. I say before December, but hey, it's Jake out here that still don't even know, they still lack basic understanding of the words of Lord Yahweh Shai. They think that the Lord Yahweh Shai, who y'all call Jesus, they think the Lord Yahweh Shai, is gonna loves everybody, or is gonna deliver, those that believe in his name, Jesus and all that, that false doctrine they teach, and I say, that's not true, and I say, you can call on that name, Jesus, whatever, and that don't mean you're not gonna be delivered, you ain't got the name, but even got the name, me myself first from all, you better hope that you're a part of that righteous number of the hopeful elect. You better hope that you're part of that 144,000 1/3 number, Because that's who the Lord Yahushua come from, the elect. He's gonna deliver the elect. And he's not gonna deliver all Israel in this time. It's only gonna be a small number of Israelites that's gonna be delivered in these times when the Lord Yahushua returns in a chariot so-called UFO, you know. But I'm getting to it. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. So like I said, my people right there. When it says my people, it's talking about the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. You know, it's not talking about everybody, all the other nations of people. That's only talking about the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites that's out here. They lack knowledge of the Lord Yahushua, the ways of the Lord Yahushua. They don't follow the ways of the Lord Yahushua, the words of the Lord. They don't apply it to their life. They just, they go about he say, she say. Excuse me. He say, she say, and then they just like go along, and then they not really studying or reading or really having a relationship with Lord Yahushua and the Word and meditating. They just just bullshitting around. Not being serious. And like I said, the Lord Yahushua is only going to deliver those that are serious about His Word, His truth, and sincerely want to be delivered, and to escape His wrath and judgment. To escape His wrath and judgment that He's going to bring down upon America, Babylon the Great. His judgment is going on now, but it's going to get way, way, way worse than what you see or hear now. It's going to get more intense, more violent. It's going to get real wild out here. But because, like I said, the Lord Yahushua, He's a power to be taken serious, not to play with, especially not playing by His Word. Because, like I said, you got those Israelite camps and so forth that's out there that's teaching the word wrong and pushing His doctrine wrong. That the apostles, the elders, Brother Graham Stone, they teach and they put out the lessons and for you to really get to understand of the breakdowns of prophecies and history and so forth, and the Hebrew, and you teaching other stuff. And like I said, Lord Yahushua is, you play with His Word, He's gonna deal with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna happen to a lot of guys out there, that's teaching wrong doctrine, false doctrine. Lord Yahushua gonna deal with them. And those that don't believe in Lord Yahushua and His Word, that the apostles and the elders, Brother Graham don't teach, they're gonna be destroyed, as well. Like I say, you got 2/3 of Israelites that's gonna be destroyed in here in America, Babylon the Great. Because they do not, they don't take the word of the word of Lord Yahushua serious, and they're not gonna repent of their ways. They're gonna follow what they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna be into these other doctrines and religions, whatever it may be, and it's gonna destroy them in the end. It's not gonna deliver them. But I'll go from there to Psalms 82:5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So Lord Yahushua, these people are here in darkness, and the Lord Yahushua got these. The Lord Yahushua, the Lord Yahushua got these people in darkness as well. They blind. They don't. They mind frame. Their spirit is it's in this mind in the ways of this world. They in the carnal mindset. They not in the spirit of Lord Yahushua. Their spirit is full of darkness and not of the light of the Lord Yahushua, His Word, His truth. And like I said, all the foundations, all the cords. Like I said, the so-called white man Esau, devil that's in power. He got everything backwards, and all the lies and deception he puts out there, and continue to do it. And people still, you got some people still believe in what they say, what these so-called white people Esau, might say on TV or in the churches and the media and the movies, and but hey, that's the Lord Yahushua got them like that. He got them in that mindset, because like I say, it's all about the elect, because the Lord's people, His elect, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, hear his word and gonna hear the word, hear the truth, and know that that's it right there. You know, it's gonna click with them. It's gonna resonate with them in their spirit, and they're gonna latch on and hold on until the end. You know, until the Lord Yahushua returns and destroy America, Babylon the Great. You know, but like I say, you know, these people out here walking in darkness, man. They don't know what's going on. They so. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this word real quick since I'm going to that word. They so this word right here.
Oblivious.
They're so oblivious to what's going on around them, man. So the word oblivious is not aware not aware of or not concerned about what is happening around them. So these folks here, they don't know, hey man, we in those times, hey, the Lord Yahushua finna bring his wrath and destruction. A lot of death and destruction finna come down, man. And these folks are just you know, hey, still partying bullshit like the days of Noah, you know. They still partying bullshit. There's things going on, but they're like, oh, whatever. You know, I'm still gonna party and like I say, our women, the Israelite women, they out here, you know, acting fools and shaking their butts and all, you know, going crazy, you know, acting the fool, you know, out here half naked. And then the men out here, you know, they, you know, you got Israelite men out here ain't got no backbone out here, you know, being homos and, you know, and just going with the ways of this world, you know, they gone. That's why I say a lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of 2/3 gonna be women of the Israelites or the so-called Negro Latino natives, you know, but you got those men in there too that just, you know, out here just gone, man. You know, they got a whole bunch of demons on them that they can't shake. They so engulfed into, you know, into the ways of this world, you know, getting, you know, they getting money by any means. They don't care about how they get it. They gonna get it, you know, I ain't gonna go too much, and you know, like I say, by any means, if you know, have an idea in your mind, you know it, you know, they're gonna go hard for the green paper dollar, you know. By any means, they don't care about selling out. You know, but only the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites is not gonna sell out. The elect is gonna hold. They're gonna be firm in the favor of Lord Yahweh Shai, and you know, unto the end, man. No matter what, you know. But like I said, most people out here are just, like I said, oblivious to what's going on around them, man. They have no care. They have no fear. You know, they just whatever. You know, but it's gonna come to a point. Lord Yahweh Shai finna bring a whole bunch of fear down on you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites that didn't hearken onto his word, that played with his word, that thought it was a game. It's gonna come down hard on y'all, man. Y'all gonna be like, what is this? Why is this happening? It's the Lord Yahweh Shai. It's the Lord Yahweh Shai doing it, man. You know, if you would understand the word Lord Yahweh Shai, if you would repent of your ways, you would stop doing the things that the Lord Yahweh Shai hates. You know, the wickedness, the wicked acts that you do, you know, and not repent from it, and still engulfed into the ways of the world, you're gonna be destroyed. You know, that's what's coming. The Lord Yahweh Shai is not a power to be played with. You know, he's a power to be taken serious. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to play with, man. You know, so. But I'll go from there to I just want to get that word real quick. So see, I don't want to go back. No. So I'll go to this. I didn't want to make it too long, so it's on 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospels be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So if the gospel of Lord Yahweh shall be hid, the truth that the apostles and elders Berger teach is hid. You know, it's hid to, you know, to them, you know, that are lost, the 2/3 Israelites, you know. You know, and those that, you know, trying to, you know, get the understanding, they can't get it because the Lord Yahweh shall blocking them from getting it. You know, if he wants you to get the understanding, it'll click with you. It'll resonate with you. You know, like, okay, this is it right here. This makes sense. But you have some Israelites, it just can't dawn. It can't, you know, the light don't flip, it don't switch on in they spirit. It don't switch. They can't get it. And then they'll get upset, mad, whatever. Because the apostle Ezra, brother Mr. Stone, you know, the words of the Lord is like fire, you know. You know, it'll get under people, you know, spirit, you know, body, you know, the word coming out, it's the truth, because the truth is the truth, you know. But I'm gonna go to 2 Corinthians. I ain't gonna make this too long, so I'm gonna end off of this. Second Corinthians 4:4. In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, At least the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. So yeah, so the God of the power of this world, the so-called Edomite devils is in power right now, so-called white man. They blinded the minds of these people with the lies and deceptions. These holidays. These holidays where they set up, and you still got Jake out here. Tom, you still you got Halloween. They still celebrate these these wicked days. That Lord about Shasha hates. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. Really, it's Thanksgiving. They still and Christmas. You still got Jake out here still on that Christmas shit, and they so excited about trying to do something about Christmas. And like I said, the nigga woman still want to keep pushing it. The so-called the Negro woman, the Judite woman, they want to keep pushing it. Like, God, Lee, like, wake up. It's 2025. This is not got nothing to do with the Lord. This is a pagan holiday. Ain't got nothing to do with with our people, the so-called Negro, Latino natives, Israelites. Even when you try to tell them, to show them like this had nothing to do with us. This is a pagan holiday for the so-called white people, the Edomites. It ain't got nothing to do with us. That was their thing. It's a rapper's Christmas and all that stuff. Going to the history of it. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with us. And then they'll be like, whatever. I'm still gonna put up my Christmas tree and blah blah blah. You can't. It's like, hey, that's a lost cause there. Yeah, you just gotta be like, hey, man, And I say, you can't deal with it is what it is, Because like I say, the scriptures say the God of this world, the so-called white man, Esau Edomites, the ones in power. The so-called white man, Esau Edomites, the ones in power. They blinded the people of this world with their lies and deception, man. Saying that the December 25th is the day of the Lord. The birth of the Lord and this and that. And it's saying it's okay to celebrate Thanksgiving and Halloween and all this other stuff, But, the word of the Lord Yahweh, the light of the word of the Lord Yahweh has not shined onto these people, man, until these Israelites out here, a lot of Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino natives are just in darkness. They're going to be in darkness until the Lord Yahweh returns, and bring his wrath and destruction down and bring that fire down, with the laser beams and by the laser beams, by the chariots, so-called UFOs, and the thermal missiles. They're going to be shot towards America, Babylon the Great, burn everything up here, man. Everything going to be destroyed here, man. And that fire going to be hot, man. It's going to be a hot fire, man. It's going to, and yeah. But, let me see. I didn't want to make this too long, so I just want to go into that, man. Hey, Lord Yahweh, he only dealing with the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. Only the elect is going to be delivered. Only the elect is going to keep his word, keep his truth, keep believing unto the end, no matter what, And hopefully I'm part of Rosh number to escape the wrath of judgment of Lord Yahweh. So with that, again, like about praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, to the apostle elders, to the sister Akin brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting with that. I say shalom.